Better late than never. This is Arkansas basketball recap. Coming in late to recap the Arkansas Razorbacks victory over the LSU Tigers by a score of 94-83. Arkansas becoming the offensive juggernaut that we thought they might be at some point. I don't know. Khalif Battle continues his tear and is just a bucket getter, a point scorer. That's what it is. I mean, 94 points. This game is actually not a lot to say about it other than they played great. Um, if you look at the numbers, like feels like it was even probably closer than it should have been. Like, given the way that Arkansas played, you're like, how? I mean, I guess maybe defensively, and it wasn't like we were bad defensively, but you gave up 84 points, and I guess that's why it's close. But um, I mean, this
Yeah,
is
honestly,
one of the first games where you won the rebounding back, you won everything.
I was going to say, I think it's the first game where, I mean, obviously you could nitpick, but I just don't have anything critical really to say overall, big picture about the game. I mean, they, like I said, you want to nitpick. I've got a couple of things that they made mistakes on where I was like, why did you do that? That's stupid. That's,
Hmm.
like, why would you possibly pass the ball to Mitchell on a fast break at the 3-point line? Like that's just I mean when you have an advantage of like a 2.5-on-1 and you're the point guard with the ball in your hands, why would you throw it laterally to a non 3-point shooter and a guy that can't drive and you just put the brakes on the entire fast break? But like I said, other than little things like that and a few defensive things, I mean, everybody played great. And
Yeah.
and they played great with offense. They played with great effort. They played like I said, I mean, LSU missed some bunnies, but a lot of it they weren't just missing them like everybody was down there, Davenport, Mitchell, uh Brazil, they were all jumping around, swinging at all of those layups. And, there's shots that, like, if you're LSU, you're like, man, we got to make those. But they were being bothered by our effort. You know what I mean? And I mean, I would also say if I was to LSU, I would be disappointed in that defensive performance.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
while, I mean, they looked like we look a lot of times where, I mean, they just could not keep us from driving the ball. And it was either an and one, a score, or a foul almost every time. I mean, we probably drove the ball 50 times it felt like, and it felt like maybe three times like Mark ended up on his butt out of bounds and there was no foul call and the ball was
Yeah.
going the other way. Other than that, every time it was either a whistle, a score, or a whistle and a score. And well, what can you say? And Battle particularly, I mean, it goes without saying, but the thing I was impressed most by him was not his scoring. Although the element of his scoring is he seemed, for the first time, I think, ever, if it seemed like in the other three games, like Muss has been like, listen, dude, I know you want to shoot that three. I know it's wet sometimes. I know it feels great when it's going because you got that quick release and you can get it from anywhere and no one can stop you from shooting it. You've got to drive the ball first. You have to put pressure on the defense. And it looked like the other three games that he scored so well in, it looked like he was catching the ball and like fighting that instinct to want like to jack it up and be like, oh yeah, okay, I'm driving. And he was still jacking up a few. This game, it felt like something clicked in him. He felt like he was refusing to shoot threes. He wasn't even thinking about threes. I mean, he shot a couple when
I mean,
when it's like he'll have to.
yeah, he ended up shooting six, but
But do you know what I'm
he
saying
could
though?
have
Like
shot he could have shot 12.
he was driving the ball more intentionally and without hesitation. So on offense, I thought he looked great. And then, but also defensively and just his overall effort, he was rebounding. I mean, dude, the first like couple of minutes, I can't even, now it's been like freaking 3 days almost. This is going to be the first time that we're going to release podcasts on back-to-back days because we waited so long. But the first couple of minutes, he was like scoring, and I can't even remember what it was, but he made a couple of good defensive plays. He ripped down a rebound. I was like, God dang, what happened to this guy? Where did this come from? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I mean, what he did is crazy. Like to score the most amount of points in a 4 game stretch in 20 years is not a small thing. Like
No.
he's playing magic right now.
Yeah, I mean, he also like, I mean, he did a lot of other things. He had 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks. Somehow managed to only have 2 fouls, which is also means that he's playing better defensively, smarter defensively. Yeah, I mean, if you look at what we did, I mean, we had 18 assists in this game.
Which
I
is like
mean, that's a ton for
up
us.
by a factor of 40% or something
Yeah,
like that.
that's a ton for us. 10, we had 10 blocks in this game as a
Dude, and they
team.
were good ones too. And a couple of them, like we had at like three that were so close to being goaltends. And
Yeah,
poor LSU, they had like two that were goaltends. And they were like, I mean, the difference between our blocks and their blocks were literally fractions of a second.
yeah,
I mean, that one, I can't remember, I think it was Battle or maybe it was Davenport. It was simultaneous. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
he hit it against the board as it was touching.
yeah. I mean, other guys played well too. I mean, I mean, everybody kind of played well. I thought Ellis played good. He had 30, 32 minutes. I mean, he was 6 of 7, 2 of 2 from three. I mean, he also had 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals. I mean, yeah, I mean, he played great. Um,
Dude, Mitchell on the pick and roll, like
Dude,
they, I mean,
Mitchell, 8 of 10 from the floor. He had 8 rebounds, an assist,
it
a
felt like
steal, 3 blocks. I mean, like Mitchell was awesome.
it felt like Muss was like, okay, maybe the only way to teach you guys how to guard a pick and roll is to have you perform it nonstop all game long. And poor LSU, like they did look like we looked, where they just, it was like, you know what's happening. Obviously, the big guy's coming up there to screen and he's going to dive, and there's just nothing they could do about it.
Yeah, yeah. I thought Davenport played well too. I mean, he was just 2 of 4, but he did get 5 rebounds, so he's been rebounding really well.
Mm-hmm.
As they've been playing better, part of that has been Davenport rebounding. So he ends up with 5 boards, but he ends up having 4 assists. So he passed the ball well. Mark only had 9 points. He was 2 of 8. I mean, didn't shoot the ball exceptionally well. He shot some free throws, had 9 points. But he had 8 rebounds, 5 assists. So I mean, it's everybody played pretty well. I mean, you had Brazil and Lawson. I mean, they each played 13 minutes. Lawson was good. I mean, he was 3 of 3. Um, and Brazil, he was 3 of 4. They didn't, I mean, not a ton of minutes. Neither of them rebounded well. They each had 1 rebound. uh, so, that's is what it is. Diva only plays 12 minutes. Blocker doesn't get on the court. I don't know why. I guess maybe that's like a little bit of a weird thing to me. I don't know uh, why Blocker can't get on the floor even in a game like this, but whatever. Another fascinating thing, it was senior night, and all the seniors come out and they got like the big, framed uniform and stuff. And so Mitchell's got one, and Devo's got one, and Davenport, and all the guys. Someone missing from that group, so that was weird. All the seniors, they got their stuff, and there's someone missing that should have that, and that person is Khalif Battle. Why don't you got your big jersey in a frame, dude? Is it because you have a COVID year? I think it is because you have a COVID year. This is a sneaky good sign that Khalif Battle was like, because I mean that's intentional that he would be that he would say no, no, don't give me my jersey. Uh, Khalif Battle also was asked about whether or not he was hey, you done, and he said I have another year left. An Arkansas Razorback. I want to be an Arkansas Razorback. I don't know. I'd at the beginning of the year, you'd have been like, no way he's coming back. Even if he could, that dude's freaking gone, dude. Like he's sitting on the bench and stuff. I don't know, man. Is Battle gonna come back? It it kind of feels like he maybe is going to come back.
I mean, I hope so. I mean, we'll see. He's playing so well that now I do think like some of these better coaches, no offense to any of the teams we've been playing, I mean, but going into the SEC tournament and stuff, like you're going to have Bruce Pearl and, you know, some of these guys, they're going to start focusing on him. And I mean, they might even start, I mean, like I said, it's not a joke, like how ridiculous his performances have been these last couple of games. And I mean, if I was a team, I'd start thinking about doubling the ball out of his hand if he's just going to foul out all of my freaking guards and post players, you know what I mean? And shoot freaking 15 free throws every game, that's annoying.
Yeah.
Uh, I might start to not every time, but if it's appropriate or if it works, you know, if you get your defense set, I might start throwing two guys at him to get the ball out of his hands and try to make somebody else score.
Yeah. Yeah, especially up top, you might just like say, hey, when he gets the ball, you just run another defender at him. Um,
Well, or if he
I'm not sure
when he
it'll
goes to
work.
drive, I'm not sure it will work either because his drive is his first step is so fast and but I do think, I mean, there's probably a way if you watch him enough and if you're a good enough coach and you practice it a little bit to figure out how to make him pass
Yeah.
out of those drives. And then if I was a coach, I'd rather see Ellis and Devo and Mark shooting, you know, not open, but like, you know, threes where they catch the ball open and a guy's recovering to them, than see Battle getting to the free throw line 15 times a game.
Yeah, I
But
just
we'll
don't
see. It'll
know.
be
I mean, I don't
interesting.
know. You have to do it right, or else you're gonna throw another defender at him and you're gonna foul him for sure. Depending, I mean, like if you don't time it right, if you let him get,
I mean, I'm not saying yeah, but his drive is ridiculously fast and he's looking for off balance shots the whole time, you
yeah,
know.
and he's looking
So
for contact. I mean, he's good at
mhm.
waiting until the contact comes, to release the shot. So yeah, I don't know. It wouldn't hurt my feelings if he came back. I mean, like I said at the beginning of the year, I probably wouldn't have cared. I think his defense has improved a ton, and I mean, obviously, he's on a like all-time heater scoring. And here's the thing about his scoring right now. Sometimes guys get on heaters, and you're just like, man, so and so is just shooting the crap out of the ball. What he's doing is repeatable.
Well, that performance last night for sure. The one before where he hit a lot, a little. I mean, maybe he hit the same. Maybe I'm not. I'm not sure. Maybe I need to look at the stats better. But it seemed like he hit more threes in the 40-point game where he just
Mhm.
was filling it up. But that, yeah, last night, I mean, dude, he didn't even, it wasn't like he played 40 minutes and had the ball the whole time. It felt like he scored that many points easily and
Mhm.
like a normal amount
Well,
of,
it's been super efficient. Like
well, because he's,
it's not like when Wade scored, 41 on us or whatever, but took like 31 shots or whatever. It's like he's not doing that. Like he's dropping 30 points, and shooting the ball 14 times.
mhm.
I mean,
What were his minutes? Because I know he had, I mean, my guess would be 35 or something like that. I mean, I know he played a
30,
lot.
he was 34 minutes, he was 7 of 14, 13 of 14 from the line, 29
That's what I'm
points.
saying.
I
That
mean,
game, he
I
had the
mean
long,
that dude, that's like crazy efficient. That and that's what he's been doing is like he's scoring 30 points a game on like 14 attempts.
mhm.
That's hard. Like, that's I
Well,
mean
and especially because like they weren't all threes.
no. He only made
Like
no, he
I
made
think I
two
remember
threes. He made two threes.
When Meeks went on that run for because he was the guy I think that had the second most. I might be wrong, but I just remember everybody talking like that guy. He was starting to do the Steph Curry thing. He was just pulling up threes from everywhere. I mean, he was doing it all over the place too. Obviously, for scoring that much, you are. But he was one of those guys that could just get hot, almost like oh, now I can't remember his name, like the guy on our team that from years ago in the game that I was at when we played Old Miss and he hit
Bell.
nine Bell. Yeah, when
Yeah.
he hit nine threes in that game. Sometimes guys will just do that and it's crazy. But yeah, this feels like he's letting the game come to him in a certain way, which feels better. And I mean, obviously LSU was playing well, and they're,
I
you
mean,
know,
they were one of the hottest teams in the league coming in,
yeah, I do
and they
think
had a lot to play,
personnel
and they had a lot to play for.
they did. If you look at those games though, they've played well, but they've also, I mean, they showed the replays like they've won I think three of those games with like a last second, two of them for sure with a last second bucket. They were all close. And I do think Auburn, Alabama, Kentucky, not so much. I think Kentucky's beatable. Auburn, Alabama, and Tennessee are tough for us because I actually think Alabama's probably better than with the way we're
Dude,
playing
but
right now.
Alabama, but dude, okay, the game on Saturday. I don't know how many points are going to be scored in this game because Alabama puts up like ridiculous amounts of points. They
Mhm.
also don't guard anyone.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think
So I don't know.
Alabama,
I
I'd
don't
rather play
know.
Alabama than Tennessee, is what I'm
Oh yeah,
saying, is because Kentucky and Alabama both outscore you, but they run fast, they get a ton of possessions, and because of that, and because it's just the nature of the game, it's not that they're bad defensive teams completely. It's just that that's
Alabama's
not,
bad is bad defensively by the numbers. I mean,
yeah, they might
they're
be
really
bad.
bad.
It's not their focus, but it's also it's hard to play D when the whole thing is a fast break drill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they don't even have a defense they set up. The whole thing is just running up and down the court in a scramble. And I'd rather, with the way we're playing right now, I like our chances against that better than a slowed down, grinded out Tennessee and
No,
Auburn to a
to
certain extent.
me, Tennessee's like your worst nightmare. Um, they have
They got
guys that are really Dalton Connect's a really tough cover, and they just defend so well that like that's a I don't know. So
I also like I mean, a little bit. I like our defense a little bit better against a faster, scramblier team because our guys aren't the best at setup, half court, let's break this defense down. You know what I
mhm.
mean? And even again, in the same way the other way, there are team defense where it's like, okay, we're in the half court, we're set up. Here comes the pick and roll. Like we're not that. That's not our gift either. Like a team's, not that we play great defense, but our I think our scattered hodgepodge athletic defense where we're just using our blocking ability, using Brazil's athleticism to come out of the side and stuff like it behooves us more than we're not the smartest defensive team, but
Yeah,
we do have athletes. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So,
yeah.
but
Well, I mean,
all that was to say, if there's any chance of anything happening in this tournament, I mean, it's a good way to start the wave to ride in there, and it's definitely going to have to come on the back of something extremely special from
yeah,
not just uh battle, but everyone's going to have a really good stretch here. You know what I mean?
yeah.
In
You're
order to
gonna have
beat some of these teams.
Mitchell's gonna have to continue doing what he's doing.
Davenport
You're gonna
and
need
Ellis
to
are going to have to hit shots.
yeah,
Like everyone's going to have to play well because we are still, a team that's okay on defense, okay to moderate on defense, and these teams are good.
yeah, yeah,
Right now we're scoring, but we're going to have to get a stop at some point
yeah, for sure. All right, man. I think we'll end it there so we can get it out. We'll probably be back. You know, this weekend at some point to
tomorrow.
break down
This
the
is we're
Alabama
recording.
game.
This is Friday already.
Yeah.
So,
All right, man. I'll talk to you
all right.
later.
All right. See ya. Thanks, guys.